Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Nitty Gritty to Balance podcast. I'm your host, Abigail, and joining us each episode is my mom, Stacy, a holistic health coach and intuitive. Each week, we discuss topics through the lens of her work and subspecialties to bring to light the balance in the everyday. So, with that, let's bring in the brains behind the balance and get this episode started. Welcome in, everyone, to today's NGB episode. I'm excited for today. Today's conversation is a beautiful one.
I think it has a lot of grit.
I agree. But we've also laid it out beautifully. I think our listeners are going to have a good time listening to today's episode. And we hope you really are able to pull a lot from this episode.
There's a lot to think about.
There is.
Yeah.
There is. And of course, we are here to support you through the journey of today's episode.
Always.
As we are exploring being individual. Let that sink in. What does individuality mean? It's something we talk about so often.
It is. And that's why we were like, you know what? We really got to put some depth to this.
Absolutely. And so we're kind of coming at it from all angles. We're going to run through and see how it applies to all four bodies.
Of course, because we are four bodies.
Exactly. And as we've spoken about in many episodes too, everything is interconnected. So why not our individuality?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
If we're not living in all four bodies,
Mm-hmm.
we're not being individual.
Yeah. But we're going to get into this in a way that goes beyond confidence, beyond identity, self-expression. Like you said, we're really going to get into the nitty-gritty of being individual.
And away from ego.
Mm-hmm. That's a big piece.
It is.
Away from ego.
Yep. And I think we will kind of touch on that throughout.
Mm-hmm. Now, another thing to point out too before we get into this is that this is not a concept necessarily. This is about the universal truth that your existence is not a coincidence. You know, drawing everyone back to individuality. How could you just pop up as a coincidence?
Right.
And your perception is not generic. I think we also live in a world where, and we'll get into this, but there's a lot of conditioning. There's a lot that pulls us away from self. And so your perspective is here to be its own.
And we also sometimes have the thinking that, oh, everybody thinks this. Oh, everybody does this. When in reality, that might not be the facts.
Yeah.
And it also points to that your way of living is unique all on its own.
Yeah. Not because you're special, although you certainly are, but because you're unrepeatable.
Wow.
Let that sink in.
Yeah. Unrepeatable individual.
Beautiful.
That's powerful.
Very powerful.
If we can just sit back and just maybe close our eyes and repeat that to ourselves.
I am unrepeatable.
There's a lot of power back there.
And my perspective is my own.
And this is the opposite of conformity, but not the opposite of connection.
Yeah.
Which is another very powerful statement.
Yeah. I think it's kind of elusive at the same time, that statement. But I think getting into this episode, that statement will become much more clear.
Definitely. Yeah. We've got quite a bit to back that up.
So let's get into today's episode. Again, we're going to break it down through the four bodies first and give you guys real kind of step by step how individuality lands in the four bodies, and that we have a firm grasp on individuality as a person. So let's start with the physical body.
Being individual physically means listening to the foods, environments, and the rhythms that your body responds to. That's a lot there.
Yeah.
Is completely listening to how your body responds to everything externally.
That's exactly what I was going to say. All of these are external things that we interact with, react to. Yeah. So it is, I mean, like you said, the environment.
And what really stands out to me is the word rhythms. And how important that is for us to investigate and find for ourselves our own rhythm.
Yeah.
In our daily life, monthly, yearly, with the seasons, there is a flow. And once you start tapping in and really kind of paying attention to it, you really start understanding yourself.
Yeah.
From this totally different view.
I like how you said tapping into. But we've all heard the phrase dancing to the beat of your own drum.
I love it.
You know, if we're talking about rhythm, you know, we think about music. And that phrase to me is, you know, forgetting about the outside noise and just tapping into the rhythm within. And being comfortable with that, being okay with that. I think, you know, a lot of times we look for outside validation. We look for the outside source of confidence or whatever it may be. But yeah, discovering your rhythm within and finding what feels right and what feels true for you can make this journey of individuality so much easier.
And maybe even more fun.
Yeah, definitely more fun.
Yeah, when you get to just start listening to yourself in what pulls you and drives you and sparks. It's fun.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and I think, you know, kind of going back to environment, you can really, you know, people gravitate towards certain environments, you know, whether they live in this environment, forest, beach, mountain, or when they're looking for like a getaway, like a vacation, where do you gravitate towards? Do you want to be secluded up in the mountains? Do you want to be under the sun on a beach? I mean, where is that pull?
Yeah, what's going to energize you? What's going to fill you back up?
Yeah.
To come back to your regular rhythm.
Yeah, what kind of feeds the soul in a way as it pertains
rejuvenates.
to. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And foods.
So important.
Yeah.
What makes us feel good? What doesn't make us feel good? We have to listen to that. That is our individuality. And what might fuel somebody else may not resonate with you.
Yeah.
And to just go along with that and just eat that because that's what they're eating, it doesn't serve you.
And we've chatted about making this into a whole episode too, but eating with the seasons also. I mean, someone could live on the other side of the world and you're not going to eat the same as them. So yeah, I mean, even our diets, even our foods should have the space to be individual.
Definitely. But what's so unique about what you just said, somebody could live across the world and be eating totally different. Absolutely. But what if you're from that other side of the world? What if you're from this other place and you moved and relocated?
Interesting.
To this other place?
Yeah.
It's going to fuel you to still eat that way.
That is so interesting.
And that new environment may not completely help you thrive if you're trying to fit in to that environment.
Wow.
And so that is truly listening to what your body needs and craves and wants and what feels healthy.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a perfect idea.
To stay individual.
Well, moving on through the physical body, being individual physically can also pertain to not following wellness trends or, trends in general that just don't match us. I certainly fall victim to this because I could see something that maybe I could enjoy doing or, a routine that could light me up or make me feel, whatever it may be. But it may not fit with me. And rather than struggling to fit myself in a box and do this thing and commit to this thing, but it just doesn't align, that's something personally that I get caught up in a lot. And you constantly remind me, well, if it's not working, it's not for you. And
exactly.
It's the truth, yeah.
Well, and that's why exercise and diets don't truly work.
Yeah.
Because it does not take that complete individual need in that process.
Yeah.
And that's where you have to figure out, the individual has to figure out for their own filling of their cup, what do I need to eat? What foods do I need? What exercise do I need that make me feel good? How simple would it be if we could just go back to no social media, that we don't know what's happening in other communities and countries and all of that? If we could just live in our now, how different would we all really be living? Very different.
That is really funny. I often think about that too. Like, of course, there was a world and a society that functioned without social media, without, immediate information at our fingertips. But you still had to go out and explore and figure out what worked, what you liked, what you didn't. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yes.
But if you think about, living that way, you were individual far more than now.
Absolutely. You had to tap in to that inner wisdom to ask yourself, what do I need to do in this situation? And then you move from that.
Yeah.
You move from that wisdom and you learn what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then you modify and move from there. That is life.
Yeah.
That's what life should be. That's being the complete individual.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then another piece to this too is choosing rest and movement and touch that restores you rather than impresses other people. And it's kind of a lot of what we just spoke about, without using the words being individual, but to, I guess, drop the ego, drop the persona, drop the image, and focus on self.
Yeah.
And the rest and the movement, like you're talking about, the exercise that fits you.
Yeah. Do you just need to go out and walk for 10 minutes a day and that energizes you for the rest of the afternoon or the morning or the full day? Or do you only need 6 hours of sleep? Do you need 12 hours of sleep? What does that look like for you?
Yeah.
I need lots of sleep. I have come to recognize that. I no longer feel that I have to follow literature that's out there or what experts are saying or claiming. I'm turning into me.
Mm-hmm.
And at night, when I'm feeling tired, I'm going to listen to my body. You know what? It's 8:30. I guess I need to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up at 6 o'clock. Feeling pretty good. Okay, I'm going to get up.
Yeah.
I do understand that not everybody has that luxury to be able to get rest in that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've got to get up early in the morning, maybe to start their day, to get kids off to school,
Right.
get to work at a certain time, can't go to bed till after the household quiets down, goes to bed. I understand. But you have to find yourself
Mm-hmm.
in that rhythm of your reality
Yeah.
that still keeps you individual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Regardless of the schedule, regardless of the busyness, there should still be time built in for the individual.
Well, you're built in that whole entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you have to sneak away and pull yourself out of it. I mean, you just, life puts you in with all these people and circumstances and experiences, but it is staying your authentic self in that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're exhausted at the end of the day, maybe you have to say to your partner, look, I'm done.
Yeah.
I have to go to sleep right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pick up in the morning. You sleep in the morning, and I'll, get up a little bit earlier and take care of the kids, or however that works, but you
Mm-hmm.
stay authentic to yourself.
Yeah.
And then you just communicate with the others around you.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps you stay in that authentic space because others know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
You don't have to be angry or sad or bitter or any of that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You just move in and out of that to your authentic rhythm.
Yeah. I love it.
And so with all of that, it really points to that your physical individuality is your key,
Mm-hmm.
like a key in a door.
Yeah.
And no one else has your exact code.
Mm-hmm.
No one else can know exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Only you do.
Mm-hmm.
And really, only you can provide that for yourself.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic because you don't have to rely on anybody or anything else.
Right. Yeah. I think about how this lands and how this applies in the real world, and it certainly will take, some time of stillness almost to go in and reflect and find what this individuality means.
It is going to take some investigating.
Also another one of my favorite words.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we say that one a bit too.
Yeah. Some internal investigation.
Yep. We don't get anywhere without it.
Mm-mm.
You got to ask questions.
Yeah. Well, now let's move into our mental body. This is also a really big one.
Definitely. This is where most people lose the self.
Mm-hmm.
And the mental body becomes crowded with cultural scripts, parental beliefs, religious rules, expectations, comparisons,
Mm-hmm.
fear of disappointing others, or even missing out.
Yeah. That FOMO.
And it's a real thing.
It's very real.
It kind of keeps us trapped.
Mm-hmm. But disappointing others also.
Oh.
To not be able to say no, to not. And yeah, I think it comes along with that fear of missing out. Absolutely.
Yeah. Being worried how you're going to be looked at, judged.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But cultural scripts, just chatting before this episode, you brought up a good point about these cultural scripts kind of passed down through years, decades, generations, because that's what kept these cultures alive, these ideas alive, are these scripts and these programming in a way. That's what kept this idea alive.
Yes. And I see a lot of these that we just listed out with the mental body, is that a lot of these stem around safety.
Mm-hmm.
They are put in place to keep a family, a culture, people
Yeah.
safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Parental beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
as we spoke about, are passed down to children as a way of the parents' belief to keep their children safe.
Mm-hmm.
And that is passed down to this child that then grows into a person and an adult. And yeah, it's a cycle over and over again.
Yeah, because it becomes a part of you. You almost consume these things
Mm-hmm.
as this is me,
Yeah.
but yet they really may not speak
Mm-hmm.
to the heart of you.
Yeah.
And we just carry them along like they do.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just covers up what or who
Yeah.
we really are.
Yeah. And it's interesting to think too about the time that we live in now, because I feel like there are so many people that are trying to break generational curses, they say, or generational trauma, or breaking a generational habit, a parenting style that they don't feel is necessary or feels right.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think we really live in a time where these patterns of being are being broken.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're being broken, then what are they becoming? And I think that's the perfect reason for why we're having this conversation, because if you're breaking down an old pattern, what do you become? Do you become someone else's pattern? Are you going to choose someone else's pattern, or are you going to find your own?
That's a very good point. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to start from, why is it there?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you can get clear and understand why that was put in place to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
then you get to know, or then you maybe have insight on how it no longer serves.
Yeah.
And that helps move you into, now what
Mm-hmm.
does serve.
This kind of reminds me of our last episode talking about emotions,
Mm-hmm.
and how, for a tricky emotion or a difficult situation, you have to go through the emotion to find a new perspective, to find gratitude in that situation, to then be able to fully process it and move on from it. This kind of reminds me of that, having to understand it and appreciate it for what it is, but to be okay and confident in moving on from it.
That's beautifully said, because then that moves you on
Mm-hmm.
in a way that is healthy.
Yeah.
Because once you understand it and you've gone through this process,
Mm-hmm.
you come out of it with a healthier perspective
Mm-hmm.
to move in a direction that is more healthy and more serving.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the change that I think we all would want.
Yeah. Yeah, that healthy change.
Mm-hmm.
That we're not moving on from something with resentment
Or fear.
or fear. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is a true, authentic want and desire of yours to recreate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And also, to touch quickly through here, also talking about comparison. Comparison is a big one. Kind of going back to what I said, if you are dropping an old habit that you believe no longer serves you, are you just picking up someone else's? Are you comparing yourself to someone else's external? Because that's not where individuality comes from.
Mm. Certainly not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're searching for the outside solution
Source.
source,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, that's not authentically you.
Right.
Because you have to go inside. You have to come at it from how your body feels, your emotions, your four bodies.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you know that that's the truth for you.
Right.
So you have to go in,
Yeah.
not outside.
Yeah. You have to find your truth.
Yeah.
Might I say your individuality?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Imagine that.
But being mentally individual, really, we can kind of boil it down to learning to hear the difference between your mind and your programming. I think that really encompasses what we've chatted about here. The programming of the external,
Yep.
the family, the religious belief, the cultural belief, the comparisons. These are all pushing and programming you to be, do, and think a certain way. And being individual is learning the difference between that voice and your true voice inside.
And how you do it is by asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
as simple as that.
investigating.
Yep. Yep. That's how you become individual.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Big piece of it.
I love this quote.
Mm-hmm.
If the thought makes you blend in, it's not yours. If the thought makes you stand out, it is yours.
That individuality.
Mm-hmm.
Stand out.
It's so funny because that lands with me very much because I've never been someone that wants to blend in. I don't like blending in. I much rather, if everyone's going this direction, I'd much rather go in the opposite direction.
I'm so much the same way.
Yeah. It feels, because this way can only lead you so far. Whereas going in the opposite direction, not fitting in, I feel like there's every other possibility out there. Whereas if you're just following the group is going in one direction. Whereas the opposite way can be endless.
It can be scary, but yet exhilarating because you get to figure it out. It gets to be your own adventure.
Yeah. And again, how much more fun can we have just discovering what our own adventure is?
Yeah. And that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, moving into the emotional body.
Yes.
And this will tie in a little bit, the listeners that listened to our last week's episode on emotions. This definitely kind of ties in with that.
Yeah.
But the emotional body, it's interesting that most adults have never felt their own real emotions. They have only felt the emotions that they were allowed to express.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really kind of heavy.
It is. It's just to sit and really think about that we learn this almost maybe pattern from childhood, what we were allowed, what was okay for us to express, and then get rid of or suppress what wasn't okay.
Right.
Yeah. That's where a lot of people get into trouble with their emotions.
Yeah. It really just makes me think about the emotions that we suppress, the emotions that we don't allow to feel. And if you're only allowing yourself, a subset of emotions that you're allowed to feel, you're missing out on so much.
Yeah, there's this whole huge scope that's trying to teach you other lessons, and you're just staying in the same ones with these select emotions.
Well, being emotionally individual means allowing emotions as teachers. And you kind of painted out the beautiful example of like music, arts, movies even, and how these arts really draw our emotions. And also if we imagine, two people watching the same ballet show, one person can be completely moved emotionally by this performance, by the music, by, the image of that the dancers are trying to create. It is a very emotional art. One person can be completely moved by it. Another could not be interested, could be totally bored or not.
Sleeping.
Or sleeping. But how interesting that just that example can draw two completely different reactions from someone.
Yeah. So again, that's just that curiosity of why is this stirring this, or why is this not stirring this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's both sides to that.
Yeah.
And so it's very interesting to allow these emotions, one for yourself and then for the other person.
Mm-hmm. And then, like you said, too, allowing them to be our teachers.
Mm-hmm.
That's something we talked a lot about in our last episode.
Yes.
But allowing your emotions to raise these questions,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, and allow these emotions to teach you.
Yeah.
About your experiences.
Another really big one is knowing which feelings are actually yours.
Mm-hmm.
And so, kind of a funny example that comes to mind with this one is a sales pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Is how you can find yourself so wrapped up
Mm-hmm.
in the energy and the emotion if somebody's trying to sell you something,
right,
and you really buy into it, and then when you walk away, all of that rushes out and you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
How did I fall for that? How did I
Mm-hmm.
buy into that? I don't want that.
Right.
But so it's just really listening to your inner compass and what really resonates with you.
Yeah.
And not get caught up in somebody else's excitement, emotions, feelings,
yeah,
energy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting too because the industry that my career is in is really tied around sales. So sales is a really big piece of what I do. And so I've been really in the sales industry for over 7 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And it is interesting to really look back and reflect on my journey in sales because you do, almost have to foster your client's emotions in a way, like you were saying. But I've really come to the point where I value education, so educating my clients, and I allow them to choose yes or no. I provide as much as education as I can for them, answer as many questions as I can for them to ensure that it's the right decision for them.
Nice.
And but it's so interesting. I certainly didn't start out that way. It comes from experience, of course, but mentors, of course, is a big one. Who I was learning sales from.
Yes.
Versus, who I've grown into in the sales industry.
Yes, and what's driving you as well,
Yeah.
Profit certainly drives you until you start recognizing the value in that.
Yeah.
And is that how you want to maybe come across? And that's beautiful to allow somebody to step into what you're saying and feel it for themselves to then make that choice.
Exactly.
That's powerful for that person.
Yeah. Yeah, that's certainly my goal. Going back to what being emotionally individual means could also come under understanding that emotions are information. Again, pointing back to what we talked about in last episode.
Yeah.
But these emotions really, they act as information.
Yeah.
Words that trigger you, instances that trigger you, how these emotions pop up. This is information for you to do some digging, some investigation, and understand what this feeling is.
Yeah. Get curious. Why? And then you move from that authentic self.
Yeah.
That place. And not how is it going to look? How is it affecting all these other people? I mean, obviously, these are things that we have to be aware of, But that doesn't have to drive and make our decisions.
Right. Yeah, it is certainly easy to act and make decisions from an emotional standpoint, but those may not be the best decisions to make.
And we usually find that out because it
Unfortunately.
doesn't align with us.
Yeah.
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 So then also respecting your emotions,
Mm-hmm.
allowing them, but then respecting and allowing the emotions of others.
Right.
So as we do to ourselves, we do to others.
Mm-hmm.
And that's keeping them individual as we want to be individual.
It also makes me think of releasing control.
Mm.
You know, you, as much as you may want to control another person's emotions, it's not up to you. You do have to let others, you have to honor their emotions. You have to allow, you have to respect and honor their emotional process.
Absolutely. Just as you want to be
Mm-hmm.
honored and allowed to go through your process, your rhythm.
Yeah. Of course, we're talking about healthy expression of emotions, but
Yes, thank you for pointing that out because that really is what we're speaking to through this whole entire episode
mm-hmm.
is coming at this, as we stated from the beginning, not the ego.
Mm-hmm.
This is just absolutely our inner awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the space that we're coming from.
Yeah.
It's all in love and what is right for us,
Mm-hmm.
not in the ego selfish way.
Right.
Can't stress that enough.
Mm-hmm.
Individuality is not, all for oneself.
Right.
And so it's key to know that emotions are not universal.
Mm-hmm.
They are uniquely tuned to one's history, body, and lessons.
Yeah. I love that.
Yes, that's emotions.
Your emotions are not universal. And, that's another piece to us that we want to fit ourselves and people into boxes. And that's where we get this conformity.
Right.
You must conform to this set of rules. But oh my goodness, once you understand that you can break free from that, again, that programming,
Mm-hmm.
There's no box to fit you in. Your emotions are not universal.
Yeah. And the lessons in it
Mm-hmm.
also are not universal.
Yeah.
Just as going back up to the physical, that is not universal.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's body requires very individual things.
Yeah.
Last, but definitely not least,
Maybe one of our favorites, the spiritual body,
yes,
and how we can be individual in our spiritual body. Now, this is the deepest layer of individuality. This is a complete trueness of who we are from birth. It's not mystical. It's not grand. It's just, simply put, the quiet sense of who you are when you can fully be you.
Wow. Fully you.
Mm-hmm. How to fully embody you.
Yeah, when you say that just, it's like, it's not conformity.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like anything else.
Yeah.
It's a nice feeling.
It is. Yeah, like it's freeing.
It is.
There's so much openness when you know and you understand that there's no conformity.
Mm-hmm. And so spiritually individual, what that really means is trusting your inner guidance, your
Mm-hmm.
inner direction.
Yeah. That inner compass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is forging your own path. And we had talked about that several episodes ago. I don't remember what that one was on, but not following somebody else's blueprint. It is completely yours, so unique to you, your path, and what you have to do and offer in the world. And this is the spiritual, individual level.
Another is making choices from alignment. Now, alignment, I feel like, is a buzzword, so we'll need to break down what this means.
Yeah, let's talk about that deeper, because that is also another word that we use a lot in what we talk about. So really, what do we mean when we're saying the authentic self?
The alignment.
The alignment. Yeah, sorry.
I mean, they go
Yeah.
they go hand in hand. That's a little bit of a accidental but beautiful correlation there.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this episode before recording it. It is about, that authenticity. It's about finding and knowing what's true for you. That is your alignment.
When I hear that word, alignment, what visually pops into my head is almost like the spine. It is this straight line. So in a way, to me, that represents support. That represents maybe strength. But it's this almost like this piece that is you, that you just know. And so that is your foundation, that is your strength, that is your line, that is what you build all of this on top of, is that these pieces that you just know to be true. That is alignment.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Can you see what I'm trying to put together there?
It does. I think a question people could certainly have is, but how do you know? And that comes from creating space to be and feel you.
To ask questions and investigate.
Yes.
And let the answers come up.
And again, when we're doing this investigation, there is no, let me Google search this, let me chat GPT this.
Right.
Because that's searching for an outside answer, an outside validation, someone else's thought. That's not your own. So when we're talking about this, we're talking about sit down with a journal. And the questions that come up are the questions that you dig at.
Yeah.
And it really, talking about this is such a practice, having the first thought drop in your mind, but then it's a struggle of questioning, well, is this programming or is this real? And where does this come from? And listen, this is part of the journey. This is where it starts.
But it also starts with, where did I just feel that in my body? Did it really make my heart feel full? Or did it put a knot in my gut? Or, did I get little, like, almost giggles or bubbles in my throat because, that seems exciting? Or butterflies in your stomach because it was exciting? Or did it spark all these other creative ideas? Yeah. You listen to your body. And that's why we have to incorporate our 4 bodies in finding our individuality, because they speak to each other.
And this, again, is why it is a practice, because you will very quickly learn what is a true knowing and what may be programming, where these feelings pop up in the body.
Yeah. And then you'll also start getting a sense of where they came from. Was this family? Was this cultural? Was this religious? Was this outside collective? where it came from.
Yeah. Yeah. Coming back into being spiritually individual, also honoring your intuition,
Mm-hmm.
whether others understand or not. This is your intuition. It's not someone else's intuition.
And a lot of times somebody else is not going to understand.
And that's the beauty of it.
It is.
And this intuition is exactly what we just pointed to. It is that inner knowing, and it is that practice.
Yes. And it is also that intuition is that inner compass as well, because it really does help point and guide you, the individual, in your direction. And other people don't have to understand that. If it feels good and true to you, then that is right.
Yeah.
That is your path. And you don't always have to explain it to other people.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. Also, knowing connection does not require you to become invisible. This is also a little bit of a heavy one because we do often find ourselves in relationship, in marriages, or in groups of people in the workplace. Where we may feel that our individuality becomes less. It becomes either overshadowed by other people in the workplace, or there's that pressure to conform.
I think a lot of times is that we shrink ourselves. We don't allow our authentic individual self to be presented. We're fearful of how other people are going to perceive us.
Right.
We are fearful that it's going to be weird or not accepted. But that's being the individual.
Yeah.
It's not fitting in. It's not blending. It's not conforming. It is so different from all of that.
Yeah. Don't fear your individuality.
It doesn't mean that we have to jump off the deep end, but we just have to understand where we are coming from.
Yeah.
And then we step into that. And a lot of times when it really is authentic to ourselves, everybody else seems to be able to accept it. They might not understand it, but they can feel that energy, that is the trueness of that person.
Yeah. And I think it also has a trickle effect because then it also makes others feel comfortable or inspires others to feel true to themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it inspires. I definitely think so.
Be true to you.
Yeah. So spiritual individuality is the moment you trust life to guide you in each moment to your purpose.
Allow life to guide you.
Trusting that. Yeah. Because it is very individual. It's not going to look like somebody else's.
Yeah. Your life is individual. So are your experiences. So is your path. So is your purpose.
All of it.
We're not meant to follow someone else's blueprint.
So why you matter.
Let's bring it back to self.
We can take this in a lot of different directions, but I think we're going to take this from the perspective of why we are here to live, what we're here to contribute, what our purpose is.
Purpose. I love that word. And to be unrepeatable. Because you are a one in existence.
Wow.
One of a kind.
One of a kind.
No one else sees exactly what you see. And this goes to perspective. Your perspective on a situation can be wildly different from someone else's.
And can totally enlighten
Mm-hmm.
anybody and everybody.
Yeah. Because your presence solves a problem, your absence cannot.
That one's deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In the subtle way that your timing, listening, or noticing intersects with someone else's turning point.
Mm.
So think about that. You just happen to be at the right place at the right time, say the right word, the right thing, and you can totally change somebody's trajectory or how somebody thought about something or was about to go about doing something. You can totally change it just being you in that moment in time.
Yeah.
And nobody else can do that.
Mm-mm.
It took you to do it. How special is that?
Yeah. You also matter in the way how other people grow around you, almost like trees shape themselves around the light.
Mm. Mm.
You had a beautiful representation of this before we started the episode, and I want you to tell our listeners.
I see this as the elders are this grand oak
Mm-hmm.
in the forest, and the rest of the family are these saplings that are growing around this grand oak.
Yeah.
So you really do change the geometry for the collective
Mm-hmm.
as the forest changes and grows
Yeah.
with the trees around it and the light that they get. The family or the workplace
Mm-hmm.
or the collective
Yeah.
is the same.
Yeah. I think it's such a beautiful image.
Mm-hmm.
Your family, it's your family tree, but it's put
Mm-hmm.
into a whole different perspective.
Yes.
And I love that. The world doesn't need compliance. If everyone followed the same script, the world would lose its intelligence. Insight requires individuality. If you're thinking about innovation, if you're thinking
Mm.
about, driving forward an idea, that comes from the individual. It comes from an individual thought up concept that then drives innovation.
Yeah, that's nice. If we all looked and thought about things the same way,
Mm-hmm.
there would not be much advancement.
Yeah.
And so it really does take everybody perceiving and going through life very differently for us to have a well-rounded perception,
Yeah.
perspective.
The way I'm thinking about it is, yeah, I mean, if we're going to talk in a workplace, let's say, you're going to have a group of people that think similarly or they have similar interests, goals, they're working towards a project or something, but there are individuals that bring a fresh perspective or the perspective that sparks a new idea and that just it just builds off of itself.
Yeah.
But that can't come from one way of thinking.
Yeah, you don't get very far with just one line of sight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The other reason why you matter is that no one else can offer you your exact warmth, humor, presence, forgiveness, or tenderness. No one can give that same energy
Mm-hmm.
as that individual person.
Yeah.
And that's unique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, again, if we're going to break it down pretty small, if we're talking about a family, a father may not necessarily be able to nurture and care for the children as the mother does. The mother has their own specific individual needs for the family, their individual presence in the family.
I also see this as a comedian.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that no comedian is the same as another comedian. They find the humor in just these kind of obscure, weird, but yet typical ways, and everybody will, find different pieces in that humor or resonate with that comedian or not, or another one, or it's just even humor is so individual.
And I like how you said too about resonating with one or another, because that just further drives the individuality. One person can really be a fan of one comedian, and another person can be like, oh no, I can't stand them.
But even the comedian, putting their content together and where they're drawing this humor from and the way that they're even looking at it. So individual.
Yeah, absolutely. But also your decisions, your mistakes, your recoveries, and experiences generate wisdom into the collective. You have a beautiful example of charity groups. Someone that could have struggled with something or learned a large lesson, going through something difficult, but now they're on the other side of it and they've learned, and now they have a fresh perspective on it, but they want to help others.
They can offer it to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this again is just kind of brings me back to that innovation, that discovery of a need that can be out there for others.
Yeah.
And someone that wants to help.
And it just took that individual to go through something to then be able to put this together and then send it out.
Yeah.
And that's all from being individual.
And lastly, you matter because the universe doesn't repeat itself. I just love that so much. There are no duplicates anywhere in nature. No leaves are exactly the same. No fingerprints are exactly the same. Snowflakes.
Or souls.
I know, I think okay, you can have identical twins, but their souls are not the same.
Their personalities are not completely the same. Their selves are not completely the same.
Yeah.
There is no absolute duplicate. Repetition is mechanical. Individuality is organic.
Yeah.
That feels real.
Yeah, that's a great perspective. It's, completely draws the images of each. It definitely personifies the individual.
Yes. And that's why we all matter as individuals. Okay, so that's a lot to think about and mill over and process and maybe question, investigate. So, as we always do in NGB, how to practice this individuality.
And we have some guiding questions for all of you guys. So this is where we recommend to grab your notebook, write down these questions, and this can be a starting point for you to start that investigation.
I like it.
So our guiding question, number 1, how is my body talking to me? Cravings, symptoms, rest. Am I listening to my individual needs?
Great place to start. In the body.
Yeah, it pulls you into your body. Number 2, which thought do I keep thinking because it once kept me safe, but no longer fits who I am becoming or who I want to be?
The mental loops.
Mm-hmm. And knowing you want to break a cycle and move on. Who do I want to be? But what keeps pulling me back to the old habits?
Yeah, so that sounds like conformity, trying to move into the individual.
Mm-hmm. Guiding question number 3 we have is, what emotions have I avoided because I fear how others might change if I finally express it? That is pushing away your individuality, pushing away your authenticity.
Not feeling the emotions that are trying to guide and teach.
Dimming yourself to feel more accepted. Yeah. Number 4, when I imagine living my life without anyone's approval or disappointment, what direction does my inner compass point me in?
That one's powerful because that lets you change course.
Mm-hmm. Well, and of course, one of my favorite words in here is imagine. So there's no end to what you can imagine. So if you do get to just sit in this raw imagination of what you want to do, where you want to be, what is that?
If you're totally free to do it,
yeah. And where does that guide you? Our last guiding question for today, do I take full responsibility for my actions, my feelings, my beliefs, and the direction of my life?
That one is huge because to round up all that we just spoke about, this one is taking full ownership of every aspect in your life. Your actions, your feelings, your beliefs, and your direction, basically your choices in life, all come down to you, the individual. That is taking away blame, pointing fingers, waiting for somebody else.
Yeah. The blame game.
It takes away your power. It takes away your individuality. Because we have the power for ourselves exactly what we want.
Yeah. We recommend you mull over on these questions. Enjoy some investigation. We hope this draws you closer to your individual self.
Enjoy learning yourself.
Yeah.
With everything that we brought out today. And so what's our balance?
Yeah. Today was definitely a nitty gritty topic.
I think so.
But the balance for today, to be individual is not to stand apart from others, but to stand fully in yourself. We will always be in community, in family. We will always have a friend group. This is not to say that you cannot receive anything from anyone ever, but we should be comfortable standing fully in our own.
Among all the others that we are in connection with.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. We are not here to be alone or by ourselves. We are here to be our individual in our purpose.
So every relationship, every decision, and every moment begins from truth.
Or individuality.
From individuality. Not conditioning and not blending.
Individuality is not rebellion, right? It is coming home, meaning into the body.
Yeah.
With full ownership.
Full ownership, full acceptance.
Acceptance, huge.
coming into the body, returning to self. I think about that phrase, returning to self, because we're always looking for answers from anyone that can give us the answers.
Right.
That's what we're looking for. But
it's not true to us.
Return home, return to self.
Yeah. And in truth, as we've said a couple times, this is a practice. The practice of inhabiting your own 4 bodies all at the same time in rhythm.
Yeah.
Finding your rhythm.
And march to the beat of your own drum.
Yes.
This year is coming to a close. 2025 is almost over. And this episode really is feeling very strong, because this is really around the time where people start to reflect back on the year. New Year's resolutions are coming up.
Yep. And so it's a great time to reflect the past year. Where did you lose yourself?
Yeah.
Or where did you stand fully in yourself? And then setting your New Year's resolution. Where do you want to stand fully in yourself for the new year?
Yeah.
So I think this was the perfect time to bring in talking about being individual and truly what that means. Because this is the perfect spot or time of year to reflect and now create.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like we just said, people are already gearing up for that. People are already in this space where this is a really common time to do so. So we really want to slip in our perspective and give you something a little more to think about.
A little more concrete. And let this be your guiding light.
Yeah.
In the new year.
I love it. Well,
right. Your favorite time.
My favorite time.
Mine too. I like it.
But I think we have a book with this one.
Oh, you're correct. We do.
Our card for today is the unicorn.
Oh.
Yeah. One of a kind.
Individual is that?
So the unicorn represents rarity, luck, silver linings. Something unlikely and magical is in store. Blessings and good fortune follow the unicorn, a creature that symbolizes rarity, purity, and powerful magic. Joy and success are likely close at hand, so keep your eyes open for fortune, for opportunities, bright silver linings among dark clouds, and gifts from the universe. The unicorn is a fleeting thing, so it is important to keep aware and grasp the fortune it brings while you can.
Wow.
Well, and I think about, when people are like, oh, that person is a unicorn. They're just magical and they're just whimsical and one of a kind. You never see. And it's just, find your inner unicorn. Who is that?
When you do that, when you are that rarity, everything supports you.
Yeah.
Everything supports that because it wants that. It needs that. It needs that innovation, that different perspective, that wisdom.
Yeah. What more could we say?
Right. Yes. Move into the new year as your unicorn.
As your unicorn.
And magical things will happen.
Yeah.
That is a wonderful way to end this episode, but also to almost conclude the year.
Maybe all of our listeners should go out and find a picture or draw a picture of a unicorn and set it as your phone background to remind you to focus on being individual.
That is you.
And embracing your magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
I love it. Well, thank you everyone so much for joining us in today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Yes.
And until next time, be well.
And be individual.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening. This episode is for educational purposes only. The information is not intended to give medical advice or therapy. Please consult with a licensed healthcare provider before making any changes to your health regimen. Also know that you are responsible for your life choices and circumstances. Until next time,
be well
and be balanced. Bye.
Bye.